Batter up.
Rob and Chris, they're on the air. Yankees, Mets, they're everywhere. From the Bronx to Queens, the diamond gleams. MLB talk, the ultimate team. MLB is the place to be. Rob and Chris with the pitch you'll see. Swinging stats and stories fly. Baseball talk that's amplified.
And welcome to a new episode of NY MLB Talk with your hosts Rob and Chris, as we cover the Mets, Yankees, and all of Major League Baseball. And if you are on YouTube right now, hit that sub button. We'd really appreciate it. And if you want to follow us on TikTok, on Twitter, you know where to find us at NY MLB Talk. And you can follow Rob at R. Maraska. You can follow myself at CP7NY. Rob, we got a special guest. Let's bring him on.
Yes, we have Gary Perone, the general manager of the Staten Island Ferry Hawks. Usually, guys, we do MLB and, all that stuff, but we love to promote local and small baseball. So Gary's the GM of the Ferry Hawks. The Ferry Hawks came in existence after the Staten Island Yankees. And Gary, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you, Rob and Chris. I appreciate it too, and we thank you guys for what you do in promoting the game and making sure that our fan base here in New York City understands what's going on in all five boroughs. So thank you guys.
Cool. Yeah, we we have a lot of questions because the Staten Island Ferry Hawks. First of all, it was great that you guys, to get your name, you had a contest, and everyone had a chance to try to name the team. I remembered I sent something, and I don't even remember what I sent in, but that was a great idea. How did you guys pick Ferry Hawks after that?
I think we had so many submissions from all the different people on the island. We've had different names that were put in there, but the Ferry Hawks came out when we've seen everything, and I think when you try to think about the ballpark and then you're doing a rebrand, when you're coming off a Staten Island Yankee name, you got to do something a little bit different. And right. I think, diving back into my bag of minor league baseball tricks, and when we were talking about things here, why Ferry, why Hawks? And the Hawks are the players. I always tell people that the Hawks are the players. Ferry Hawks is the name, but the reason why it's the Ferry Hawks is because we play by the ferry. And we want people to know where we're located too. So they understand, like when I was in Brooklyn, we were the Cyclones. Very simple. Where do they play? Coney Island. So putting that emphasis on where we are is a big thing. And especially coming off of when you had an affiliate here with a big brand name, you had to do something to kind of tie in everything. So even when you look at the colors of the team, and I can tell you guys about the colors of the team, which you guys would probably like, the colors of the team are represented about all the New York City teams that played here. So when you look at the Carolina blue, that Carolina blue represents the away Brooklyn Dodgers. You have the orange that represents the New York Giants and New York Mets. And then that rock gray look navy is the Yankees. So we've kind of tied in everybody possible for the New York City baseball fabric. And I've always said, since I've been working in professional, baseball now for my 25th season. And in doing so, I said this venue here and this team now, we have the New York City venue. I believe this is the nicest ballpark in the country, hands down. I don't say it because we live here or I'm from New York City, and I had a great ballpark when I was in Brooklyn too. That place is fabulous. But being here with this view, we are the New York City ballpark, so I'm very happy about that. And we play by the ferry, so we have access points everywhere. Manhattan, Brooklyn can come here now, which is excellent.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful ballpark. I was there many times for the Staten Island Yankees. The Ferry Hawks, I had tickets actually last season, and something came up, so I have to get to the Ferry Hawks game, which I wanted to. And I have another question for you before we get into things. Last year, I was trying to get a Ferry Hawks T-shirt. Has your team store expanded? Because when I went online, I couldn't find anything really. And people ask, where could we get Ferry Hawk shirts or caps or anything? So has the team store expanded?
Oh yeah. We this year, just so you guys know, we did a lot of new things, and we'll start with the merchandise. The merchandise was, we've upgraded our merchandise. We have a brand new selection of great things. Even more than you see in there. We have some brand new stuff, new hats coming in, and then and we have new Hawkeyes coming out. Everything's great. I just seen it today when I walked in. All the quarter zips came in with the SI on them. So we have a lot of new, cool looking merchandise coming out. And then on top of that, this year, we're going to have a lot of good alternate jerseys that we wear. Like our Gabagools jersey that we wore in the past. Like those are things that people love. And we have a couple of good ones for this year. So
that's great. I can't wait to see the stuff because, like I said, last year I wanted to, and I told Chris I wanted to get a T-shirt and wear it on a couple of the shows, and I couldn't find it in the store. I couldn't find anything.
So we'll make sure you have one this year. That's for sure.
Cool. Yes, I'm glad that you expanded. Definitely, Chris. Go ahead. You wanted to ask a question.
No. Well, Gary, I mean, since we both grew up in Brooklyn. How did you give us your journey to baseball and to the Staten Island Ferry Hawks?
I think Chris, when you growing up in Brooklyn, those who played baseball in Brooklyn and had the dream of I had the dream of being in Bucky Dent once, and then I wanted to be Don Mattingly. That didn't work out, but I did play at Bishop Ford High School. Then later on went to St. Francis. Also realized when at that age that, maybe my talents weren't going to take me to the level where I, hope to be. Because that's the whole thing. We all think we can play until we can't. And that's the truth. And because it's a special talent. And these players, these athletes today are something special. It's a given talent. But for me, I've always, my passion has always been about the game of baseball, always since a kid. Playing on Bay 19th in Brooklyn, and then playing in the parks in Brooklyn too. And then as we went along, as my career started going forward, I started coaching high school baseball in Brooklyn at Bishop Ford. And then about 2 years in, I created a program called the Long Ball Club, which was the first off-season training program for kids. And this is before the evolution of private training and travel teams and everything else, and that morphed into that. But that's how I started, and we first started in Brooklyn at John Franco's Indoor Sports Center, and then we came to Staten Island, the Fun Station, and then we were in Queens. Before we knew it, we had 3 boroughs going, about 3,000 kids, getting up on a Saturday, Sunday morning, coming in, and we called it the Long Ball Club because there's a lot of kids who love baseball, the game, but some could play it, some can't. So we had everything for everybody. So we had partnerships with the Hall of Fame. So that kind of started everything, and then come in the minor league baseball teams into the area. And that's how things came about because Mr. Wilpon had noticed me working at John Franco's place, and being a Brooklyn guy and him building a Brooklyn place, it was fitting that I started my career there with them. So as director of community relations back in 2001, which I would say was probably the highlight of my entire career, was that first year. It was amazing. Started with them, and then fast forward, there's a lot of different ways of this industry and this business. Everyone wants to be Brian Cashman. Everybody wants to be the David Stearns of the world and those guys. But the reality is there's 30 of those jobs in the world. And in the industry, especially when you're a New York kid like I am, if I could stay in baseball in New York City and promote the game that I love and create some cool promotions and do some great stuff for baseball here in the city, for not just for the teams, but for the kids, that's been the ultimate goal. So that's what we started in 2004. I was chosen to go to scout school, Major League Baseball scout school, where I got my certificate through MLB. And at that time, I came back home, and then I took a 2-year stint with the Yankees, and was in Staten Island for 2 years. And then I came back to Brooklyn because it was a short-lived Staten Island run back then. But reality was that my beginning of my career was Brooklyn-based. So when I went back to Brooklyn in 2007, I told them, I said, I'll stay here for 2 years and I'm done. That wasn't the case. I stayed from 2007 to 21 because I love Brooklyn. That was my place. But when the opportunity to come to Staten Island, because I do live out here, and the reclamation project was, and having a blank canvas to do this was kind of interesting. So
and your first manager was Edgardo Alfonso, which I was very, very happy about. How did you get along with Fonzie? How did that whole thing happen? How did he become manager of the Ferry Hawks?
Well, very, Fonzie's family and I, we go back to 2001 when Edgar Alfonso was the first manager of the Brooklyn Cyclones. I got to meet Edgardo when he was playing with the Mets, and then later on in his career, when he was done playing, he got to coach and manage in Brooklyn. So we met each other in Brooklyn, and we've always kept contact throughout the years. And after the 2019 season, when I was in Brooklyn, we won a championship. COVID hits, and then here we are back in 21, and we had a new manager in Brooklyn at the time. And I know during the 21 season, as I was, at the end of the season came, then I got the phone call for here. I called Fonzie and said, "Hey, listen, you're my guy. I want you here." So he said he would come, and him and Nelson both came, and we had a nice first year together. And I'm happy that we had an opportunity to do it because I knew it was special for both of us, and also to Staten Island in a way too, because one of the things I've always said is everyone on Staten Island loves baseball, but you have two different households on Staten Island too. There are Yankee fans and Met fans. There are Met fans out here. I tell people because how I know, when I was with the Cyclones and I came to a Staten Island Yankee game, we packed the place. That I know for sure. So, when we look at the big picture, having Fonzie here the first year was great. And it brought out the Met fans that kind of the Yankee fans were used to being here anyway. So
yeah,
we did a whole big mix.
Go ahead, Chris.
Interesting. I seen, I think we all did. We seen Trevor Bauer signing with the Long Island Ducks.
Yep.
Were you guys involved at all, or did you bypass him? Like, how did it all that happen?
When Trevor's name first came about, everyone was notified and contacted, and there was a lot of things that were going on. And for us this year, the Ducks wanted to have him, so the Ducks got him. Good for Faf and the guys out there. Happy for them. For us, Carlos, and then this year we had Carlos Mirabello as our new manager.
Yeah.
So we're talking back and forth, and it just came at the time where Ducks wanted to do more with him, and yeah, they are. It is what it is. It's part of the game, but I'm very, it's nice that Trevor was out. I seen last night he pitched. It was good. It's good. It's good for the league. It's good for everything. I think it helps the league out in general. Because when we talk about the Staten Island Ferry Hawks, we're part of the Atlantic League, and we're partners with MLB. So the goal is basically, if Trevor Bauer helps the Ducks, good for him. Good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now listen, in 2022, Kelsey Whitmore signed with the team, right?
Yep.
And she her first appearance, she was a pinch runner, and then she became the first woman to start an Atlantic League game in left field. Could you tell us about that? Because that's really a big thing. We think.
Yeah, no, Kelsey's great. I talk to her. I still talk to her every day. We still talk. I met Kelsey back in early, before that season began, and we had some beautiful conversations. And when she came out here, she was dynamite. She did everything great, and she played well under Fonzie and Figgy. And she real professional. She knew she was a player, and that's what we said from day one. It doesn't matter who you are, you're a player. If you can play with these guys, you're gonna get your chance, and when you do, you got to shine. That's the bottom line. So she gave it. She was here for 2 seasons. She played a great outfield for us. She made some good plays in the outfield. And then I remember when she got her first hit in the league, it was awesome. It was great. Yeah. What a great night. And then I got a phone call from the Hall of Fame, and I delivered her stuff to the Hall of Fame. So to me, to have Staten Island in the Hall of Fame with Kelsey, and it to be a moment on Staten Island, and for the game, because like I've been saying too, excuse me, guys, Kelsey, the way I feel about Kelsey was she's the one who really helped to fan the flame for women in sports. After she started playing, we just see baseball now, women in baseball everywhere, even other sports, hockey's growing. And I think it has a lot to do with Kelsey taking the first step out and doing this. So very happy for Kelsey, very proud of her. Now she's with the Bananas with Jesse, and she's going to every major league ballpark. And to watch that, and last year I was there, and I'm going to be there Saturday at Yankee Stadium too. But last year, when I went out to watch her pitch, and I seen her come out of the bullpen at Yankee Stadium too, here in New York, was fabulous. It was amazing. and to see how the fans reacted, and to also know, because I know Kelsey personally, her admirations of getting to a major league stage and seeing that happen was amazing. So we're very happy for her. And now we're in talks with the Women's Professional Baseball League here in Staten Island to host some events with them. So that should be fun going forward.
Yeah, that's a great thing, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. Have you had other women try out since she made the team, or no?
No, we haven't. It's now that the Women's Professional Baseball League is taking formation, I think a lot of the women have now shifted that direction, and because it's being led by women who play the game. And I think that's the most important piece is, when people have these teams or have these independent teams, wherever it may be, or even the women's leagues, it's important to have the people who played the game part of it and building it, because especially on the women's side, it's as they're growing, and they keep on growing in every state. And here in New York City, we have a couple of good outfits now in Manhattan that are building. We have a lot of girls playing on Staten Island baseball now too, we didn't have that before. Mm-hmm. So that's the good part about the whole thing, is it gets, as long as people are putting a glove on and throwing a ball, I don't care who you are,
right?
Just do it. Just do it.
Absolutely. Now promoting the team, because basically, that's what we want to do. That's one of the reasons why we had you on. I saw something on the website. Can people watch the games now on the Home Team Network? What's that all about?
Yeah, so we so the league itself, the Atlantic League, we have a Home Team Network is the network that we have our channel on. So the Atlantic League now has a channel called Dugout TV, and that's a dedicated channel for the league where you'll see the games, and then on non-game days you'll see content 24/7. So the league is building that for the first time. Last night was the first round of games, so that was pretty good. And what's great about this is that people get a chance to not only see the team here on Staten Island, but also to see them on the road. So, that's a good thing. So people can check in on friends and family, see how the team's doing. And I think for us, what we did this year was, if you became a season ticket holder, we gave you a free subscription to watch the Ferry Hawks every game this year. So, and then if those people don't want, you can buy a daily pass. But I think it's a good value for everybody, especially if you're a big baseball fan and love Staten Island. You could watch the team all summer long.
Yeah, I think that's a great deal, and I think it's great for the kids who play for the team too. That they're put out there and people could watch. Their friends could watch, their family could watch. I really think that's a good thing.
Right.
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. Well, getting back to your team, what are some events you got coming up for the team? Do you have ticket packages?
Oh yeah,
you want people to know about?
Of course.
Just real quick before you mentioned them, I put up that QR code in the top left-hand corner, I think. If that goes directly to your ticket page, so they could see everything and they could buy whatever game and whatever else. Maybe you can explain it a little more.
No, so that QR code will lead to a lot of great fun, put it that way. So what we did this year was retooled a couple of things that we were doing in the past, because you got to keep it fresh. But we want to keep it fresh, and we want to keep the value there for people too. So what we decided to do this year was a couple of different things. We've had some signature games, I call them, which are the bigger nights that we've had. So this year we've identified and said, we've had a lot of people who had interest in these days, but I want more people to come and experience them. So what we decided to do was to create the 5-game signature pack, which you get 5 games, 5 of our top games, which is Italian night, Irish night, I Love Staten Island Day, the Shaolin Hawks game, and our celebrations to the Wu-Tang Clan. And then we have another game in that package that we put together. You get the 5 games, and we give you a hat and a ticket to opening day for $63. And the reason why we did 63, there's 63 neighborhoods in Staten Island, so that's for the Staten Island friends. And then what we're doing for this weekend coming up for opening weekend, all tickets are $5. You could get, and then we'll have menu items at $5 too. 2 for $5 Nathan's hot dogs. There'll be $5 draft beers, $5 popcorn. So it's going to be a weekend of celebrating the 5th season and the 5s. as we go into the season, and things that I will tell you that are not listed there just yet. So we have a couple of good events coming up. I'm going to start with our event on, let's give you June 27th. We're going to do a lot of theme nights this year that tie back into great things here in New York City because, like I mentioned before, NYC baseball is near and dear to me. So we're going to be doing a salute to New York City baseball nights. The first one we're doing is on June 27th, is Saturday night with fireworks. There'll be a salute to the 80s. And for those Mets fans out there, there'll be a tribute to the 86 Mets. And we will have a guest appearance. So that will be on June 27th. On July 23rd, for my Yankee fans, we'll be doing the same thing. 90s night at the ballpark with a tribute to the 96 Yankees. And we will have out Ken Davidoff, who wrote a book. He just wrote a book, and he'll be hosting a meet and greet with a Yankee player too.
Yeah, Ken was on our show in the beginning of his book tour, so that's great.
Kenny's a good friend for a very long time, so I'm happy to have Kenny with us. And then as we go along, we go into our Heritage Nights that we've done. Heritage Nights over the last couple of years here have been a little bit different because the thing is, I've experienced 25 years of them, and if you don't change them up, they're boring. So what we did over here in Staten Island was the first year out of the gate, the Italian general manager comes out and says, we're going to be the Staten Italy Gabagools. So we rolled out with the Gabagools in the beginning. It was a lot of fun. All our friends in the influencer world came out to support it. This year will be dynamic because it's going to be different. We're going to have an Italian festival day on August 8th. It's going to be doubleheader. We're going to have a 12 to 4 festival in the back of the stadium. And then also we're going to be honoring Team Italy because of this year they're playing the WBC. And we are playing as the Espressos. So that will be on Italian night. And then July 25th, I'm going to mix around back and forth because I'm going to tell you guys. So July 25th, we have our Irish Heritage Night. And this year we will be playing once again as the Irish Goodbyes. Doesn't matter if you're not Irish. Everybody's done a goodbye when you go out. So we've all done it. So that's good. Our Jewish Heritage Night is shaping up well. We're going to have a doubleheader, and that's going to be on June 12th, I believe. Double check the calendar on that one. But we're going to be renaming the team to the Menches on Jewish Heritage Night. So we have a lot of cool little nights for our theme nights. Fireworks every Saturday beginning in June. So as we go along, you'll see all this great stuff. And if people need more information, as you know, Chris, you mentioned the QR code's right there. And then you go to the website, ferryhawks.com. Or you can reach out to me and just email me, Gary at Ferryhawks. I'll get back to you.
Listen, that sounds like a lot of fun. You have a lot of good stuff coming up. And every Sunday home game, the kids could run the bases, right?
Yep. And this weekend, we're doing the same thing. All weekend long, kids run the bases. I believe on Sunday, I think we decided that if the weather's nice, we'll let everybody run the bases. So why not? That's why we're here to have some fun.
There you go.
Great. And and Joe Dell, you're right. $5 beer should pack the place, really.
Yeah, I would say so.
You get two hot dogs and a beer for $10. Can't beat that.
Where are you going to get that, really?
Exactly.
You can't get that anywhere, especially in New York.
But I will say the other things we are working on, and you'll see more as the next couple of weeks we roll it out. We have a new lighting system in the ballpark, which is really cool. We played around with it last night where it lights up, lights flash and they spin. It's awesome. It's like Citi Field and Yankee Stadium. So it's really cool. So we have that new feature at the ballpark. We built a brand new left field area where there'll be more activations for kids. And as we go along, the other theme nights we're working on is New Hawk City. You're going to see a lot of that this year. What New Hawk City is our tourism piece. With the two fast ferries behind the stadium and the big orange ferry, we have multiple ways of people getting here. And so we're trying to create party boats from Brooklyn to Staten Island and from Manhattan to Staten Island. So that's a work in progress. In addition to that, there's so much I've got 63 games. I could be here all day. But what I'll do is I'll make sure I send you guys all the best promotions that we're doing so you know. But there are a couple of other ones that we haven't talked about just yet that when you guys do hear them, the first couple of ones are pretty cool. The next 2 or 3 I mentioned, oh yeah, these things we're going to get some publicity big time. So that'd be nice.
Yeah, have Nick, your PR guy, add us to your list so we get this stuff and we'll plug everything.
Yeah.
Definitely will plug it. Let's talk about the team a little this year. How do you feel about the team this year?
I'm excited to have Carlos Mirabel, our manager. Carlos comes to us from the group Baseball United as well. He works with them. Baseball United, if you guys are aware who they are, it's the group from Dubai owned by Barry Larkin and a couple of the former Albert Pujols and a couple of major leaguers. And Mariano's part of that too. So what's good about that is that, Carlos comes from a great wealth of baseball background, himself being from New Jersey. And like I tell Carlos, he's the manager of the team. He's going to, recommend the players he wants. He's going to put his roster together. It is his first year managing in the league. And I say this to a lot of first year managers that come, and even for myself, learning it coming from, the Mets and the Cyclones back at the time. If you have a good network of people, you're going to get good players. And I think our outfield, we have guys from the major leagues playing our out. We had Josh Palacios in right field last night. We have Blake Rutherford, a Yankee first-round draft pick in center field. And we got Nick Decker out there. So I got 3 outfielders that played in the major leagues. The infield, right, and we have Drew Maggi who came back. Yeah. We love Drew because he's that Rocky Balboa story we always love.
Yeah.
And he's a perfect fit Staten Island for us, so we love him. And then the roster looks pretty good. We got Nick Padilla with us. He pitched last night. Did okay. Our first night out was okay. But like I told Carlos last night after the game was over, it's the first game. We knock off the rust and get back out there today. So I'm excited about the season. I think that the baseball operations that we have right now is going to get better as we go along. And it's a work in progress. And as we keep on building, the great thing about this is that when we have good, talented players, they're not going to stay here long. They're going to go elsewhere because that's the goal of the Ferry Hawks and the partner league with MLB is our job is to get players to get them back to Major League Baseball. And we try to do that. Last year we were very successful. We had about 6 or 7 guys go already before the season even began. This year we had one guy already. The Twins grabbed him from us. Carter Hulse, he was gone. He didn't even go on the road trip. He was just last workout and he got in his car and left. But that's what happens. So from time to time, we hope to do more of that as we go along.
That's great. Now we have a couple of viewers that are sending in questions from X, and I have one that wants to know how are the Ferry Hawks different from the Staten Island Yankees? That's from Tony from Staten Island. Go figure.
Tony, why not Tony? Tony, how are we different from? We're different because number one, we get to get the players that we want. If they're available, we could have our own roster. When you're a Yankee affiliate, they give you the players, which is nice. They give you the players, they give you everybody, and it's just you manage everything here for them. Things different here is that I believe Community Park has become more of a venue for Staten Island too. In addition to the 63 Ferry Hawks games, last night we hosted a hero event for like people who've fallen. Mike Morrow and CSI put that on. For us, we've become very, very community minded. And being very in tune with the little leagues and everyone out there. The Yankees did the same thing too, don't get me wrong. But this year, this approach that we have now going forward is a little bit different. We want to make it affordable, make it friendly. Everybody's going to tell you the same catchwords. Ever since I came here, living on the island, I tell people, the island needs to wake up. You have a beautiful venue and a ballpark. If you don't come here, it's on you. It's not on us. We're going to do everything we can. We're going to give you hot dogs. We upgraded all the food this year in the ballpark. Everything was upgraded. So we're going to have different menu items. Our promotions are going to be better this year. We're going to put more promotions in and do bigger things. And basically what we've done is we've listened to the community too. The community wanted outside events. We have outside events all the time now. We are working on other outside events. When people talk about concerts and stuff here at the venue, it's a little bit different to do that. Like, hey, have a concert. It takes time. It takes about a year. But we do have a festival coming up May 16th and 17th. We have the Albanian Festival coming up. We host Oktoberfest every October. So we're adding more things in. I'm working with the PSAL about doing the championships. So we have a lot of great things for Staten Island. And how are we different? Only you can come here and tell me. Mm-hmm. You got to come here, Tony, and tell me. And Tony, if you want to come out, I'm going to leave you a ticket to experience it. So there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, get in touch with us.
So Tony, email me at gary@ferryhawks.com.
There you go.
That's great. Listen, this all sounds great. I have a question. Is the Staten Island Advance involved with you guys at all? Are they promoting you guys?
No, we have a good working relationship with the Advance, and we've had it ever since we've been here. We write with them. They do stories about us too. They're going to report on what they're going to report. That's their job.
Right.
The good or the bad. And whatever it is, I'm kind of used to that by now. You get I've been called a lot of names over the years, so it's you're used to that. But yes, we do. Brian Leyline and the Advance always been great to us, so we like working with them.
Okay, I was just curious. Also, I had a question. When you worked for the Cyclones, how were the Wilpons? How was it to work with the Wilpons?
I got to say, whatever the outside thinks about the inside, I always tell people at the outside of this glass window that I'm sitting at, the world doesn't know what happens in here. I will say that Fred and Jeff were always dynamite, to the people who worked in Brooklyn. They wanted us to be successful, and they gave us every opportunity to do so. I do know that Fred was very, very into Brooklyn. He's a Brooklyn guy.
Yes.
And we know they loved it, and that's something that I can never ever say anything, people could say what they want. But I will always say that, the Wilpon family gave me my first opportunity to, so I thanked them for that. And, and the one thing that I was at I was going to call it Shea Stadium. I was at City Field last year, and I happened to see Fred, and he's always been very cordial, and I'm always grateful to them in the organization. So
that's good. That's fair. Okay, Gary was kind enough to give us his time. We know he's busy. This is opening weekend and everything. Yep. And I told him about a half hour. But before you go, Chris has a question
sure.
a question that he has to ask you. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, we always ask our guests this one final question before they go. If you were named MLB commissioner today, what changes would you make to the game?
What changes would I make to the game? I would stop making changes right about now. I would stop making the changes. We don't need to make any more. I think we've went to the point of, getting it down to a point where the ABS system seems to be working and people are engaged with it. So that worked out well. I think, the more you continue tinkering with it, I don't think there's any much more you could do. I think getting the game times down was great. The pace of play was good. For the baseball purists, us who grew up in this in New York City with baseball, I always said, "Oh, that'll never happen when I get older," but it did. We watched it happen to us. So it's, I think for the game itself, look, the game has become Broadway. We're looking at Broadway. We're looking at entertainment. We're looking at the way things are today in society. So whatever's going on at the MLB world right now, they're just staying in tune to the way society is. As long as the players, the one thing I hope MLB does is, having players stay with a team a little bit longer than they are now. I think when growing up as kids, we were always, I knew growing up as kids, Don Mattingly was my guy. Donnie Baseball was my guy, and
me too.
And then the Mets. And with the Mets, there was, Straw and Doc and Gary. Those are the guys we all grew up with, and we loved them because they were here for more than 2 or 3 years. Right. And I think that, when we're seeing contracts the way they are, and that's why next year is going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
But, I think that if we all promote the game properly and we understand, I've always had a motto, and I've always felt this way since I've been working in the game. If we put money in front of the game and kids, then you lose it. And I think that MLB is, I think they've realized to themselves that, they're in a good space right now. A lot of content being created around the game. MLB is doing tremendous work throughout, licensing everywhere. So, as it's just a matter of, it's a matter of the people. It's us, it's the communities and the people who work in the organizations. We're the ones tasked with having the communities come out and support. And we're the ones now in a diverse city of New York this is the other thing, I'll give you guys a few extra minutes because this I feel is extremely important. If anybody has to wake up, we need to wake up the baseball industry. We're going to drop a soccer ball in the middle of Times Square in New Jersey now. And when little kids see a soccer ball, it's $20 for a soccer ball. So it's easy to kick a ball against the wall by yourself.
Right.
So what I'm saying is it's our jobs of promoting the game and growing the game are there, and we have to do more of it. Because and like I always said, until my last day of working in the industry, I'm going to promote the best I can and engage as many kids as possible. And like I tell the kids, if you don't play the game, just come watch the game. If you don't watch the game, read the baseball card or go online and watch a video. I don't care. Just find something that's going to interest you with the game.
Yeah, we agree 100%. Anyway, like we said, the QR code is up in the left. Guys, why don't you support the Ferry Hawks? It's not expensive. You could bring the whole family and have a great time. There's a lot going on. I'm definitely going. I'll be there this season, definitely.
Sounds good. Look forward to having you guys out.
Thanks. And listen, Gary, anytime you want to come on, open invitation, anything you have to plug, get in touch with me. Get in touch with us. Have Nick get in touch with us. Whatever you need, we're here to promote you guys. For some reason, all of a sudden, this show has exploded, and we have like a really, really big audience all over the place. So, we want to help you guys.
Why don't we guys come out here and do a show here? I'll offer you that. All right. So you guys come out and do a show this summer.
We would listen. We definitely will, and we probably could bring the New York Mets puppet that we have as a guest. He's great too. And the kids would love him. I got to talk to him. But that sounds great. Right, we'll be in touch. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. And take care, Gary. All right, Chris. That was great.
Yeah, that was awesome. Great. That was great.
But now we have to get into some serious business.
I don't know. Do you really want to?
Well, we got a couple of minutes. Listen, let's just do it. And let's talk about the New York Mets because they're driving me crazy, as they're driving every other New York Met fan. What is going on? It's just out of control. They're unwatchable. I mean, they're watchable for the first 5 innings, like last night when McClain was pitching a masterpiece. All right. 10 strikeouts. He's pitching a perfect game. And then boom, Buxton hits a 2-run homer. Well, they get a base hit first, 2-run homer, and then everything falls apart. It was just what do you think? What do they have to do? We talked about this Monday, but it's gotten worse since Monday.
Yeah, real quick. The Mets are the first team in Major League Baseball history to finish with a winning record one year and then lose 12 straight games in April the following year.
Oh, that's great.
So there you go. You got that going for you.
Yeah, we already got a record this year.
There you go. Listen, they got to do something. It's a shame. It's not Mendoza's fault. Obviously, it's the players on the field. They're doing it. But the problem is they have to do something. You got Juan Soto's coming back tonight. That's going to be huge. Obviously, that's going to be probably the move that's going to get them over the hump. Hopefully. But you got Mauricio. He hit 3 home runs last night in AAA. Like, he's done enough in AAA. They got to bring him up. So, it's time to bring him up. You got Tommy Pham wasting a roster spot.
Yeah.
You could get rid of that guy. I mean, come on. Like, you got to do something. Benj, if you want to send him down and bring up Mauricio, you could also do that too. But they got to do something. And unfortunately, if they keep losing, I think it's Mendoza's job, obviously. But the real culprit, you got to start from the top. It's Stearns, right? Almost every move he made this offseason has gone the opposite direction. So, and we talked about it a lot before the season started. They were definitely risky moves, right?
Right.
Putting Polanco at first, Bichette at third, trading Nimmo, for a guy who's, old and, coming off a bad year. So is he going to be able to get back to his old form? And so far it hasn't looked that way. And Soto getting hurt, that didn't help, obviously, but, they got to do something. You can't just keep running out the same guys, 12 straight times and they're losing. So, I think it's time to make some big moves. I mean, they can't make trades either because think about it. Every other team in the league is like, still trying to figure out what they have before they start trading people, right? So a trade probably is not going to happen yet, maybe not for at least another month, at least not a major move. So this is what you got. You got to play with, you got to figure it out with the guys you got on your roster or in AAA for that matter.
You're right. And like we said, some of the moves he's made, you're scratching your head. And it goes to last season, right? When he signs Jose Siri and, you signed Juan Soto and then you sign Jose Siri, right? And that was a disaster. Then at the trading deadline, I can't really get on him because we all thought that the moves were good moves, right? Who thought Mullins was going to come here and just do nothing?
Right.
Right.
Right. He literally did nothing for you guys. Actually, less than nothing.
He did less than nothing. Hensley, who thought he was, all of a sudden now, he goes to Baltimore and he's a little better. But who thought he was gonna, turn out like that? Awful. Horrible. All right. One other move that we have to get on him for last year was Frankie Montas. What was he thinking about that? So he's made some bonehead moves. I mean, let's face it. I think that he's just a small town Milwaukee Brewers type, Pittsburgh Pirates, whatever type general manager. And he maybe doesn't get it in New York, or he doesn't want to get it in New York. He wants to just look like this genius. I don't know what it is, but something's got to be done. This team is horrible. How do you start the season without a bona fide first baseman? I don't know. Why didn't you just try to re-sign Pete? All right. Yes, the back end of that contract is going to be bad. We know that. But weren't the Mets built to win now? Wasn't there the 5-year guarantee by Steve Cohen? Chris, do you remember hearing something about that?
Yeah, I remember him. Oh yeah, absolutely. And we're past the 5-year guarantee now, right? So, really. And 2 years ago, you guys were 2 wins away from getting to the World Series. Now, last year, you missed the playoffs, and since last June, you're the worst team in baseball. Right. So you got to point at the guy who's putting this mess together, who's making the decisions, making the trade at the trade deadline. Like we just mentioned, they all didn't work out. And now the offseason so far, this offseason has gone totally the opposite way. So, yeah, it's definitely on him more than to me on Mendoza. But Stearns is signed for like 2 or 3 more years at like $10 million a year. So he's probably safe. Right. Mendoza's only signed for this year. He's got a club option for next year, very and much lower than 10 million, like $1 million plus. So, you know what? He's probably going to be the sacrificial lamb if they don't start picking things up. I mean, like tonight, we said it like this was a great 9-game homestand for them to kind of correct themselves a little bit, get on a little bit of a roll. You're not expecting 9 straight to win, but you know what? If they go 6-3 on the road on the homestand or 7-2, you're like, all right, you know what? You feel better about them before they go on their road trip. But right now it hasn't started off good. And, Devin Williams, I mean, he's pitching as bad as he did for the Yankees last year. So, this is where Stearns is, maybe, like you said, he's for more small market guy, right? Because maybe, Williams is one of those guys that just can't hack it in New York because he didn't pitch good last year. And now he's starting off the same exact way he did, with the Yankees last year. So, again, they got to figure something out, right? The guy that they brought in last night after Williams, the guy struck out the side or struck out the next 3 batters he faced to get out of that because it would have been a lot worse, right? It gave you guys a shot, to do something in the 9th, but it didn't happen. So, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, they got to do something. I would bring up Mauricio. That kid's red hot in AAA. He's done enough. Bring him up. He even hit a game-winning home run for you guys already up here. So, you know what? Bring him up. You got nothing at all to lose. You've lost 12 straight. You have 0 to lose at this point.
That you're exactly right. And it just showed, it goes to show you with the fan base last night, with last night's game. Warren comes in, right? Like you said, he strikes out 3 guys in a row to get out of that mess that Williams started. And after he struck out the first guy, the crowd was yelling MVP, MVP. So, at least they have somewhat of a sense of humor. But Williams, awful. He walks 3 batters. And listen, when he walked the first batter, I said, oh, here we go. Here we go again. And I was right. But I mean, you could blame him from the pitching standpoint, but the hitting too. Lindor hits a 3-run homer, and that's it. That's it. The score. That's it. The Mets don't score. It's I don't know. Something's got to be done, and I keep yelling about it until this team starts winning again and playing baseball. I don't want to see people laughing, singing like I said all the time. My girl dancing, stupid cheerleaders on the dugout, all this stupid crap. All right? This team is awful. I've wasted how many hours, not only me, Met fans, how many hours have been wasted on this team's sleep when they were in Los Angeles on the West Coast, getting like 4 hours of sleep during the week each night. For what? For this. It's horrible. All right. The team, it looks like you know what it looks like? It looks like one of those men's softball league teams, and I think I said this on Monday, that was just thrown together, like Joe from the auto parts store and Jimmy from ShopRite playing first. But Jimmy's never played first before. Jimmy is a catcher, but he can't catch. So, that's what it's like. It's like a mess. And it's like Johnny from the bodega is the manager, and that's what it is. It's like a men's softball league.
So when is Anthony Savino getting a call to become a Met? Because like you said, they're throwing it together. They may as well bring in Savino. At least they'll get the team going, right? Because we've seen it. He broke his internet the last time he was on here.
Yeah,
his internet broke while he was on. That's how crazy he was. I can't imagine how upset he is now. So thank God he's not on, because he'd probably break our internet as well.
I don't listen.
But yeah, I mean, they got to figure it out, man. They cannot, with the second highest payroll in baseball, you cannot miss the playoffs again. Like, it starts now. Like, forget about it. I don't want to hear, well, it's early. Yeah, there are 140 games left. Yeah, we get it. But you know what? You got to start winning games. You can't keep on. And the lucky thing is you got the Phillies playing bad. Yep. All right, the Marlins are, but they're still below 500. The Nationals, are probably going to lose 100 games. So you don't have to worry about them. The Braves, yeah, I mean, but they got bad news yesterday, right? Their closer is out for a while. So you know what? The Mets are lucky that they're still alive.
Right.
Like the Braves haven't ran off 9-10 or something to really bury them. So they got to wake up and start winning games, because you're going to go by the end of May. It'll be, 20 games out already. Right. And then it's going to be like, oh, now it's too late. Right. So now you got to start winning games now. Like, they got to get the team together. Whoever, like we mentioned before, there's no captain, but you know what? Lindor's got to get the team together, players only meeting, hash out whatever they got to hash out. If anybody's upset with each other, if it's a political thing, like they said it was last year, whatever it is, figure it out, and settle it and get back on the field and play baseball, right? Just have fun, and just like, you can't change the 12-game losing streak. It's happened. It's done. Whatever. Worry about tonight. It starts tonight. You got Juan Soto back. No excuses. It's time to get back to winning games, and it has to start tonight.
Yeah, well, maybe Lindor will walk again. Now that Soto's back.
Well, he hit a 3-run homer last night, so that was great. But that's it. That was it on the offense. Like, what the hell?
That's what I said. I mean, that was it. That's it. Offense. That's all. The Mets are not going to win right now with 3-run homer. Like a couple weeks ago, yeah, because their pitching was really good. But now everything's falling apart.
And the Mets right now, offensively, they're last in on-base percentage, last in slugging, and last in OPS.
Listen, that if they want to hear it, last night the boos were loud. Let me tell you, everybody was getting booed last night, except when that kid came in and struck out, the 3 twins. He was the only one who really got any cheers. I mean, it's just a mess. And you're right, they got to do something because, like I always said, it's getting late fast. I don't want to hear about it. You're right, they're lucky. They're lucky that the Phillies are doing horrible and, everyone else isn't playing that great. But they should be pouncing on them. They should be ahead, not in last place with the worst record in baseball, by the way, because the Royals won. So right now, the Mets have the worst record in baseball. Think about that. I mean, they could have spent that money on something else and still lost. It's ridiculous, Chris.
Yeah. It is. It's getting to be embarrassing because you're going back to last year. Like I said, since last June, like this is not a 12-game losing streak. This goes back to June. That how bad this team is playing. So they got to change something up. And unfortunately, it might end up being Mendoza's job, right? I mean, because they got to do something. And Stearns ain't going nowhere. And like I said, a big trade is not going to happen yet. Maybe in a month as we get closer to the trade deadline. But man, we are so far away from that right now. So it's got to be from within. It's got to be within this roster. You got to get Bichette on. You got to get him going offensively. You got to get Marcus Semien going offensively. Benj, you got to figure him out. If he's not going to be able to produce, send him down to AAA. Get that confidence back in him, right? So
right.
Something's got to happen.
Yeah, something's got to happen really fast because you said it. It's embarrassing. They have to be embarrassed. I mean, no one likes to lose, but Mendoza can't keep going into press conferences and smiling and saying everything's going to be all right. I mean, you got to be fiery now. You got to change your tune because it's getting ridiculous. I have not watched the post-game show in about 2 weeks because once it's over, I don't want to hear any of that stuff. I don't want to hear Todd Zeal or Gary Apple talk about another loss. I don't want to hear it.
It's not worth it.
I just shut it off. That's it. And I get pissed. And I'm sure I feel sorry for Savino's wife because he's probably just screaming and blowing gaskets and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, we see it every day with Frank the Tank, right? So
yes.
Listen, if Savino didn't break his internet, I think he would be showing you Frank the Tank type videos every day. Because if I'm a Met fan, yeah, I would be feeling that way too. But it's pretty horrible what's going on, and they got to figure out. There's no jinx. Forget about some stupid jinx. They're calling it what are they calling it? Mambino?
Mambino. Yeah.
Come on, just win games, right? Forget about some stupid, jinx
political
or whatever
crap.
Or curse. Yeah.
I don't. That's what I hate. I hate when they bring politics into baseball or sports. Just leave it outside. I want to get away from all this stuff for a couple of hours, and So the Mets better start winning. Okay, let's go to the Bronx real fast because another team that's not doing so great are the Red Sox. Oof. And they're almost in the same boat as us.
Yeah, so, especially offensively. I mean, I seen it up close last night, and yeah, they got nothing going on offensively. And without Devers, he's a huge Yankee killer. So without him, yeah, this is just the Red Sox now, right? So now it's not that team where you're like, oh, we got to deal with this guy. So, and Luis Gil, who hasn't pitched well at all this year, pitched great last night. So
yeah, he did.
That was a great, and you know what? In a couple of weeks, like I mentioned before, you know what? Rodon's going to make his first start, I think, Friday night at Single A, his first rehab start. Thursday, Cole's going to make his second one. So, you know what? In a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is, they're going to have to make a decision. And a player is going to have to go into the bullpen or be sent down to AAA. And the way Hill was pitching before last night, he was probably going to be the first guy to either go to AAA or to get out of the rotation. So we'll see. I mean, it's a great problem to have, obviously, when you have too much pitching. But in a couple of weeks, you know, if everybody stays healthy and everybody's pitching well, it's going to be an interesting decision for the Yankees.
Yeah, yeah, I think they're coming to take the Mets away.
I think so. That's Savino being taken away.
Yeah, I think the Yankees may sweep this series against the Red Sox. Now, you know, last night was the one game because of Heel that you weren't too sure about. He pitched great. So now it looks like the Yankees have a good chance of sweeping the Red Sox. And with the reinforcements coming back soon, the Yankees may run away with this division. The division that we thought was going to be the toughest division. I mean, look at Toronto and look at the Red Sox. And, you know, even the Orioles, I thought the Orioles were gonna be a lot better. But the Yankees may run away with this, Chris.
Yeah, listen, until they beat the Eastern team, until they beat their divisional foes, that's going to be the big one, right? Like if they could have winning records against Toronto, against Boston, against Tampa, against Baltimore, then I'll feel a lot more confident about that. But yeah, right now that's the way it's looking. But you know what? It's a long season and things can change, so you never really know. But right now they're playing great. The Blue Jays are definitely, you know, a team that has a lot of injuries, but you know what? They're kind of treading water. They're kind of just hanging in. They're not going to go away. So I don't see the Yankees running away with this division at all. And the Red Sox, I think that's a team that'll figure it out too. I mean, they got, you know, Crochet's been horrible his first few starts, so you know he's going to bounce back. But it's interesting. He threw his most innings he ever pitched last year. So maybe this is the results of that. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. You know, tonight you got Max Fried going, and then Thursday night is, of course, the Cam Schlittler start, and that's the one everybody's keeping their eyes on because he's gotten death threats from Boston fans and
ridiculous. Yeah,
and his family has. So it's going to be an interesting night for sure. Cam Schlittler's first start at Fenway Park. The one thing is he's preparing himself for it. So I think that's the good thing. But Fenway, when they're against you in Fenway, I mean, Garrett Cole got shaken up, so anybody could get shaken up in that place. So we'll see.
Yeah, we know that. Do you have the graphic for tonight's show, by the way? So I'll announce what we're doing.
Yeah,
if you could put that up, because this is the fourth inning, right? Is that what tonight's show is?
The fourth inning tonight, clearing the bases at 8:30. And here's the thing. Everybody, the three of us have got a one win each in the first 3 weeks. So we're all tied for first, but Rob needs a win here this week. So, right. Exactly. I hope he doesn't. I'm rooting for Rob so we can have a 4-way tie for first place here after tonight. So we'll see, but it should be fun. We got some good topics to talk about tonight. Going over them. So it should be pretty cool. So definitely join us at 8:30. Be a part of the show. You know, with your comments, it always adds to the show. So definitely come and hang out with us.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So that's about it, Chris. We'll see what happens with the Mets tonight. Yankees probably win anyway, so we'll see what happens. We'll see everybody Friday night at 10 p.m. also. But before then, we will see you tonight, 8:30. It's a great show. It's a lot of fun. So can't wait to go on tonight, Chris.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, everybody. We'll see you then.